Hey, She Is family. Welcome to the August issue of She Is Magazine. I have had an incredible day of taping. I was able to sit down and laugh and just share some time with Nikita B, the whole deal of the purpose pusher. She is also the cover for our August issue. I had an amazing time being educated by Dr. Lulu. She is a board certified pediatrician or momatrician, and she is a coach for parents of LGBTQ plus children. Both interviews were amazing. I hope that you enjoy them. Share this magazine with somebody. Thank you again. We are rocking and we are rolling. I have been waiting on this day. Honestly, real talk. I just want to laugh. I mean, I know I just want to laugh. I know that you were going to be a source of laughter, but let me not get ahead of myself. Let me try to do you some justice with introducing you, and then I want to allow you to speak about yourself. We have none other than Nikita B. You have seen her on Facebook streets. You have seen her in the Instagram streets, YouTube, Netflix, all over the place. I'm just putting you everywhere. HBO, yeah. But this is Nikita B. And I, of course, like many other people, I found you on social media in your car, talking, encouraging, uplifting. You know, I call your segments Faith and Foolishness because you can find both.
I love that. Let me use it.
You can have it.
I'll give you credit.
I have that down in my notes. I was like, we're gonna talk about faith and foolishness with Nikita B. So
yes.
And I love the healthy blend of both. But I could go on and on about how you've made me laugh and how I've, had conversations about what you talked about in your car. But I want you to share with people who you really are. I met you in San Antonio, Texas, in person, y'all. And you have a wonderful personality. You're such a big person. And I just want you to share, the things that I didn't share about who you are.
Thank you so much for having me. I am Nikita B. Williams. I am a wife, a mom, a sister, a daughter, a aunt. I'm that girl. You understand? Yes. I'm also a registered nurse, and I am a survivor of many things. But two things that I love to let people know I'm a survivor of is both cancer and a stroke survivor. Yes. And I let them know that because a lot of times when you see people who have survived those things, they, you know how they say you don't look like what you've been through. A lot of people still look like they're going through it. Yes. But I refuse to let that be my testimony. And I used to tell the story of me being a survivor of domestic violence. But since I was blessed to have the type of husband that I have and have a true man of God in my life, I don't talk about it as much because I don't want people to think he the one that was beating me. Because people put their two and two together sometimes. Right. Okay. But I started out, doing comedy after I lost my mom to breast cancer. I literally tell people that laughter saved my life. I was in a very, 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 very dark place. Yeah. And it just happened. I accidentally started doing comedy, never aspired to do it, never thought about doing it or anything. And in the car, I was just speaking my truth and, my little rants and, telling people about themselves and telling people about me. And I always want to give people a different perspective, a different way to be able to look at things that they were going through. Because when you're going through it, you feel like it's the end. But I just like to think of myself as a reminder that it's not.
That is so awesome. It's hard to believe that comedy wasn't your plan. I mean, because you are full of foolishness and funny. I mean, it's hilarious. And then you balance it all out with Jesus. And then here we are. But when did you know that you were funny? Seriously.
I knew I was funny all my life.
Okay.
Yeah, I always knew I had the gift of humor because things would be funny and I wasn't trying for it to be funny. They girl, you a trip. Girl, you are hilarious. That type of thing. Yeah. So I always had that. But my dad, he's a pastor. my mom was a minister and first lady or whatever, but he used to always tell me that laughter was my gift. He said, you got a gift with people. That's what they say in the country. You got a gift with people. You know how to reach them. You know how to get them to laughing. And he always told me, if you can make a person laugh, they'll listen to you. And that has proven to be so. So, yeah.
That's so, you're so authentic in everything that you do, including your accent. I think that's it's the accent for me. But I was reading something that you had written. Of course, I'm always doing my homework when I interview people. But you were talking about comedian Akintunde, and Akintunde and I are from the same hometown. Like, he went to high school with my sister, so we're family. But something you shared that he told you, don't change anything. Yeah. And I just wanted you to speak to that, because had you changed anything, we would not have gotten this version, of Nikita. So just speak to that. Some of the things, maybe when you did talk to him about some advice, career advice.
I did. Basically, I was telling me, don't start cussing. That's what I was telling you. If we're going to be transparent, that's what he was telling you, girl. He was like, Nikita, you are hilarious.
So and I didn't know that.
You know what I mean? He was like, I already know that when you get out there, they're going to try to dirty you up. Now, first I was like, I'm a married woman. I don't roll like that. He was like, no, your jokes. They're going to try to dirty your jokes up or whatever. He was like, stay true to who you are. He said, you don't have to change the type of material you talk about, because, a lot of times people say, well, when I started off, I had a lot of things that I talked about church, because that's what I knew. And then it was another comedian, Rodney Perry. Yeah. He's amazing. He co-hosts with Akintunde on the Monique show. And he was in Coming to America too. He was on Tyler Perry. He work and does a lot. Yes. He said, Nikita, aren't you a nurse? I said, yeah. He said, well, your audience don't know that. He said, don't, haven't you survived some things? He was like, ain't you a cancer survivor? I was like, yeah, your audience don't know that. So he wanted me to understand that I could be funny and be my authentic self, full circle, and not just about the church. And when I got that aha moment, I was like, yeah, but if I go to the clubs and perform, then people go. He said, Nikita, that's why you need to stay true to yourself. No matter if somebody see you at church or if they see you at the club, they still know they can come and get a clean show. Wow. So when I got that revelation, I was like, there we go.
So that's what he was with. That's the real tea.
That's the real truth. He was like, don't you get out there cussing, girl. No, but stay true to yourself.
And I love Akintunde. Even when some of the things he was talking about, don't pigeonhole yourself and said, I'm a Christian comedian, excuse me. And you haven't, branded yourself and said, you're just funny. I mean, you can tell jokes anywhere. I mean,
right. Because when you use certain words, people will they will put you in a box.
Yeah.
And I'm a true believer that if you are a Christian, you don't have to wear the title, because your works and your actions will show that. Even if a person, they don't know the words to put to it, they'll just say, you a good person, or I like your energy, or you feel me? I feel you. They'll describe what they feel. That's why they always tell you might forget what you say, but I'm gonna remember how you made me feel.
Right.
So I tell people my comedy is a feeling. I tell them I'm more than funny, because when you experience me, you're gonna laugh, but you're gonna think too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just my brand. It's just who I am.
That is so true. You offer so much more than laughing. So some of the things you mentioned earlier about, some things that weren't so funny, we can go ahead and jump back into that. Some health scares, if you will. We want to discuss those, but I also want to piggyback on Mr. Williams and how, him being there and what that meant. And I do want to talk about marriage and, making all those, moving parts work and what you do. So let's talk about your husband.
Hey, my baby daddy in Christ.
Brag on your baby daddy.
Terrence and I, we have we've been on this road a long time. We knocking on 17 years. Yeah. When I met, I tell people we met at a dance ministry, but some of you call it the club. You understand? So I was a designated driver. He was a designated driver, and we knew a mutual person. And the mutual person that she was like, time out, wait a minute.
We met at a dance.
It was a little dance ministry, you know. Hey, I was serving. Huh?
Oh, that's hilarious. Now go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, we knew a person, a mutual person, and it was actually his cousin, and I was her previous supervisor. We
Okay.
both in the nursing field,
Yeah.
and she introduced us. But what really got him in was the fact that he knew my dad. And if you know my dad, you either frequent Walmart or you have to be in church. That's it. There's no in between. And he knew him from church. He even could recall some of his sermons. He knew what he drove. He knew, and I was like, okay. But when I tell you, I've never been a person that I really didn't think that I would ever get married, to be all the way real.
Really?
And I wasn't a person that think, oh, I'm going to meet the person of my dreams and I'm going to know it. I wasn't that hopeless romantic. I just wasn't. And maybe that stemmed out of being in abusive relationships. I don't know. Because I knew what it was supposed to look like and feel like, because my dad and mom, they were a perfect example. But he had so many qualities that my dad would have. And he treated me the way that my dad treated my mom without knowing that that's the way my dad treated my mom. So I was like, oh, it does exist, you know?
Yes.
So like, after knowing each other, baby, we were shacking assistants and living in full-fledged sin. You hear me? Oh my God. A year and a half later, we was married. So that's the honest truth about it, you know?
Yes. And the truth that you tell, that you're willing to share, is going to make other people free. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it will.
Absolutely. So that is awesome. Now, I know you talked about domestic violence, and we've already established that it was not her husband.
Not him, no. I went from having to call the police on dudes to him telling me, Keita, you put your hands on me, I'm calling the police. You know, I was like, wait a minute. You know, but yeah, it was different.
So so what I wanted to just jump in and ask you, I'm so happy that, number one, that you didn't miss out on an opportunity for love because of what had happened in your past. And if you could offer any advice to the woman that may be in that situation or recovering, you know, if I could use that word, recovering from, you know, the residue of domestic violence, what is it that you want them to not allow that experience to rob them of for the next experience?
So the first thing I want to encourage them is to not go back to that experience, because the experiences only get worse. They don't get better. Mm-hmm. The lies only get more convincing, but it does not make them true.
Wow.
The licks get harder. The seclusion lasts longer. And sometimes death is the only exit. Yeah. So if that's not the outcome that you desire, I need you to gather yourself and know and understand that the things that have been said to you, especially in anger and through the in between the slaps, the punches, the kicks, and some of them is verbal abuse.
Yes.
That's just what they are. They're lies. And anytime you hear something long enough, you will believe it, whether it's a lie or not. So you have to make sure that you get back to the basics and the true essence of who you truly are. And a lot of times when you're going through that type of stuff, you believe that you are all of those negative things. So I encourage you to read what the word says about you. Who does God say that you are? He loves us unconditionally, so much to the point he tells us, you know, you're going to be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. You're beautiful. You're worth more than rubies. Like, you need to know that when he said these things, he didn't have one particular person in mind. He had all of his children in mind. And if you are a child of his, then that's what it is. You don't have to devalue yourself because somebody else hasn't come to the conclusion of who they truly are in Christ. You don't have to wait around for them to get their mind right. And all of this foolishness with, oh, I'm just a loyal person, that's ignorant.
Yes.
It's pure ignorance. Why would you want to be loyal to something that is killing you? Why would you want to be loyal to something that is abusing you? Why would you want to be loyal to something that's not even loyal to you? The only thing that is consistent is the inconsistencies in the relationship. So I would encourage you, sis, because it's usually us.
Right.
But believe it or not, they men out there that need to get out of domestic violence relationships too. And they feel like that if they do leave, then it makes them a punk. If they do leave, then it means that they're a failure. It's not so.
Right.
Abuse is not acceptable regardless of whose hand it's coming from, whether that hand is manicured or not. It's unacceptable.
Yes.
For you just to know and understand that there's better for you and there's more for you, but you will always be restricted as long as you stay in the place of the person who has the restrictions on you.
Wow. That's good. That's a good word. I wanted us to do more than laugh. I wanted us to help. And anytime that you're in front of a camera, you're helping people. So I appreciate you for doing that. Now tell us about current husband being there for you, during the stroke, and you're a nurse. So
Yeah.
I mean, you certainly you work in this industry. I've seen on your Facebook where you say, I mean, you see people that have had strokes. So
Yeah.
what was it like when that experience was you?
So whenever it was first happening, like I literally felt my body going through the transitions of it all. I just thought I was very tired. So I said, I'm going to take a nap. I was literally performing on stage and I felt my face tightening up and tingling. And I was like, what is that about? And I was like, well, I am tired. Then my eye kept running and it wouldn't stop running. I was like, what is that about? They thought I was so into this comedy, huh? They said, oh, she is really doing a great job. I was like, I'm about to wake up dead. You hear me? And I'm like, what in the world? Then the lady wanted to take a picture with me. We smiled and my smile was twisted.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. But baby, she had one of them Obama phones, honey. So the picture didn't take the first time. And I was like, Lord, I thank you. I thank you for the prepaid. What? So the picture didn't take it. I was like, well, don't worry about it, honey. That kind of thing. Because I ain't want that on social media. But went to the doctor the next day because you're not paying attention to yourself. I was like, I'll go the next day. Baby, they ran them tests. They were like, ma'am, you are actively having a stroke. I was like, I ain't got time right now. And they were like, we don't plan strokes. You can't go home. I ended up being in the hospital for that New Year, literally on New Year Day, and that entire week and the beginning of that next week. And the doctor told me it was stress-induced. Stress-induced. And it was my husband reminding me, like, Keita, listen, there's only one of you. And I'm here for you, but I can only do as much as I know needs to be done. I can do the obvious, but some of the things that you are allowing to stress you out, they're not your things to be worried or concerned about.
Wait,
and what
they
really
weren't
gave
your
us,
things? They weren't even your things?
nah. It was me taking the cares of other people,
Wow.
me taking care of so many other people, being there for so many other people, and it wasn't reciprocated. It didn't go both ways. And this is what gave us that aha moment. Literally, get a phone call at the hospital. And in the country, they say, on my bed of affliction. They knew I was on my sick bed, honey. And they were like, we know you sick and we know you got a lot going on, but wanted to see if you can help me with my light bill.
Oh, no.
Baby, you about to have a romantic lifestyle between you and the Lord. Y'all better light plenty of candles because them people going to come cut them off. You can call me on my sick bed. But let me tell you the sickening part about it. I literally was trying to log on to go and do it and help. But thanks be God to the stroke. I couldn't remember my password. And Tams was like, yeah, enough is enough. It's a wrap. That's not what we're going to do. Literally.
Wow.
Yeah. And just being there and just knowing that, that part in those vows for better or for worse. I'm thinking better or for worse means we arguing. You understand? I didn't know sickness and in health. Now, I mean, it look cold, Jesus, even the pneumonia, maybe a flu. But this, baby. So just him being there to show me that, you know what, regardless of the version of you that I have is better than not having you at all.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, you trying to pay light bills with a stroke. My God.
You hear me?
So listen, talk to me about self-care. How do you, having gone through that, tell me what self-care is for you now.
Now I put myself on the calendar. I put myself on the calendar. And not only that, I have a daily routine. When I get up in the morning, I don't have to try to figure out what I'm going to do or duties as assigned. I know what I'm going to do when I first wake up for the first hour, hour and a half of my day. And then my day starts. I know what I'm going to do whenever I wind down before I go to bed. Before, I was just up and I was going until I stopped. But living like that and making those kind of decisions is what made me stop. It caused me to stop. I don't want to do anything that's forced. I want to be able to make, conscious decisions. So when I get up in the morning, I already know when I'm awake, I don't move. I just settle myself and I go into gratitude and I thank him for everything that I have. I don't care from the smallest thing to the largest thing. I give thanks. I make sure that I go into prayer. I make sure that I meditate. Lord knows you need to bathe. I make sure I get that taken care of, right? And then I go into actual movement. You got to be busy. When I say busy, I'm saying in your body. Your emotions is energy in motion. So if you get emotional and it just feels stuck right there, it's because you need to move. Your body needs to move. We are, like they say, you a ball of energy. Literally, we are. When you break it down and you go and you study the body and how amazing God made us, right? So I had to have that routine, that mind work though. That mind work, because what you keep telling yourself, you will create. Thoughts become things.
Absolutely.
And people don't believe that. But, the thing you've been thinking about all this time, and it comes to pass, and then you speak that same negative thing, and then it keeps being redundant. Then we lie and we say they generational curses. No, some of it is just poor habits. Some of it is just bad decisions. And y'all been making bad decisions. Your grandma, your great grandma, and whoever else just make better decisions. Everything ain't a curse. You understand? So I'm gonna break the generational curses of strokes in my family. Now I'm gonna let y'all not get on my nerves, and I'm gonna make sure I don't eat a lot of stuff that's high in salt, and I'm gonna make sure I exercise. How about that? And we can start right there. You know what I mean?
It ain't a curse. Say that again.
It's not, baby. It's not a curse. That's that foolishness right there. And then you want to throw the Lord on top of it after you done ate your ham sandwich. Okay. You're trying to drink vinegar to bring your pressure down. All right. Okay. You're going to end up not being able to drink out of straw. That's what's going to happen.
Nikita, let's talk about your cancer diagnosis. What was that like?
That was very scary. And at one time I was like, I don't even need to do no shows no more, because guess what? I got that phone call before I got on stage. Wow. I was going through the things with the stroke on stage and got the phone call from the doctor before I got on the stage about the cancer. And the thing about it was, it's cervical. And I thank God, because I didn't have to worry about going through a lot. It was enough. But I didn't have to go through what I see other people go through. I didn't have to go through what I saw my mom go through. Yeah, I had to do the chemo, you had to do the radiation, but I'm able just to only do a few sessions and then able to take pills by mouth. Other people don't have that testimony. But the fact that I knew that it was in my body and that it needed to be gone and it needed to be removed or whatever. I remember when me and my husband first started dating, they found cancer on my cervix. My mom and dad prayed over me, with me, for me, and we were believing as well. When we went in the day of surgery and they went in to put me on the machine to look and to finalize things, they came back and told me that I was not going to have the procedure because they didn't see any evidence of it. So we went from a diagnosis to it not being able to be detected. I didn't even have to have surgery. But guess what, though? And I talked to my husband about this not too long ago. I said, I lived in fear that it would come back until finally it came back.
Come on.
Instead of me living in gratitude
and
that it couldn't be detected. Me claiming that I don't have to worry about it no more. I literally, anytime I could, baby, my stomach could hurt. And I'm like, oh God, I hope that ain't not coming back. Girl, you need to use the bathroom. That's all that is. You know what I mean? But mentally, because my thoughts were not where they needed to be. My thoughts were not aligned with my faith. So then I really had it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just all kind of aha moments. That's why I am bent on people's mindset. I am bent on them thinking positive, speaking life over yourself, being careful of the things that you say and the things that you do. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, old school, honey, if you got cancer anywhere below the waist, they swear you just out here being community property. You understand? I'm like, first off, I'm married and I'm a lady, okay? It ain't come from none of that. But, just getting through that. I'm like, what in the world? And I'm like, Lord, they say whatever he doing in this season, don't do it without me. I'm like, you can skip me. I got enough testimonies, I can pull them up out of there. I don't want no news. You understand? But it was scary, to be honest. It was very scary. Your body go through changes and different stuff like that. But, there's no change more definite than death. And because that ain't my testimony, I feel like I should be able to share what he brought me through, how far I came,
That's amazing. I mean, those are two serious health related issues, very serious health related issues. And I'm glad we're still sitting here being able to talk about it and even laugh about it. So
yes, indeed.
Awesome. God is good. That's amazing. All right. So I got a couple questions written down here for you. And one of them is, if you could call the president and the vice president, our sister Kamala, and ask them to do you a solid, what would it be?
If I could ask them to do me a solid, it would be, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, because you can't ask but for one thing. Right. I got a list, Lord.
Take your time.
I know, right? I think though one of the biggest things would be is to mandate some type of structure as it pertains to the police. I really do, because we have 4 boys and we have 2 grandsons and a possible. So,
a possible.
Oh yeah, we ain't got there to be able to swab their mouth yet. So it's a possible. So my father, my husband, like I think about this stuff. And my husband they call him a gentle giant, right? Or he a teddy bear or whatever. But to somebody who choose to be intimidated by size or stature or whatever, that could be a problem for us.
Yes.
And you can't control or dictate how a person thinks or what a person says, but baby, behavior should be standard. It should be standard across the board. So just something to standardize that. And if you don't comply, this is what will happen, like automatically. Like in some states, if you get caught with a gun, you got to spend a year in prison. They don't care if you was carrying it for your mama. You gone for a year. That's why things are the way that it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's a sad thing that you have to mandate that people are treated fairly, but we have to start somewhere. And definitely, I feel like it needs to be with the people that's supposed to be here to protect us.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? At the bottom of it, I'll give my information if they want to slide me any of that PPP. Like I ain't to go about it the wrong way or nothing. I'm going to do right by it. I got a true business for real. Can a girl hold something? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just slide that in there too.
That real PPP.
Yeah. I'm talking about police and the people. And then that last piece for please, you know what I'm saying? Let me get there.
I ask this question a lot when I interview people for my magazine. If you could gift Black girls everywhere, if you could gift them one thing, what gift would you give them?
Hope. Without a shadow of a doubt. Because as long as you got hope, you'll keep going. You'll keep striving. The word said he came to give us hope. If that's what he came for, it had to be important. Wow. So if he want us to have it that bad that he was willing to come, knowing that he was going to have to be crucified and get up out of here, oh yeah, baby, I would give them hope. That's what I'll give. I'm talking about the kind of hope that could not be moved by any man, woman, boy, girl, or any other thing. The kind of hope that's steadfast. That's what I would give them.
Yeah. What's something that you're dreaming of? What's one of your big dreams that you want to share?
One of my big dreams is to be on the big screen.
In a movie?
I want to be on, I don't care if it's a movie, if it's a talk show, but I got to be the host. If it's like I want to be on the big screen, being able to be who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be a scripted version of me. I want to be the renewed version of who I am, and I want to be on the big screen, and I want to be able to grace stages all over this world and still at hope. That's what I want to be able to do.
I believe that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, I definitely believe that's going to happen. So a couple rapid fire questions. Love Jones or Love and Basketball, and why?
You gonna get me, sis, because I don't remember neither one of them. But I'm gonna have to go with Love and Basketball because that's the last one that me and Terrence watched, and he couldn't believe that I never watched it before.
Really?
Yes, and the reason why.
Let me get your card.
I know. Look, and the reason, but I didn't watch much TV movies, and I just don't. I don't.
Well, did that have to do with the salvation and your daddy in the church and the
country? Yeah, exactly, and the fact that we ain't had cable. But I love the story and the storyline. Like, baby, when there's that deep love there, it doesn't matter what comes up, what happens, it's going to remain. Mm-hmm. Now you got to be decent in order now, because it can't lead to adultery. But what I'm saying is, if it's there, then you know what I mean. You need to go after and say what you mean and mean what you say.
Absolutely.
You know, I did. I don't even remember Love Jones. Now I got to go and try to figure out what that was about.
Nia Long and Lorenz Tate. That's an old one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I do know what you're talking about. I ain't watch it though. Ooh.
Sugar or salt in your grits?
Salt.
I know, right?
Yeah. What in the diabetes we got going on here? No, ma'am. I can't eat grits and then have to do that. No.
First of all, grits is not supposed to be sweet, so I don't even know where that.
Well, I don't know where that came from.
That's devilment.
Yeah. That was somebody that hadn't met the Lord yet. He said salt, huh? He talk about the salt of the earth. He say
yes,
about
shit. Oh my God. They weren't in scriptures at all. They weren't in scripture at all. Well, actually, that is really all I have written down. Like I said, I didn't want it to be scripted. I felt like we had an amazing conversation, and
yes.
Thank you so much for sharing and being transparent about your challenges. About your life, and if there is, do you have anything that's coming up, anything that you want to share with us? Are you back in these streets yet?
I'm back in these streets, but I'm doing a lot of stuff independently, and I'm so amazed and mind blown by it. But of course, you can go any of my platforms. You can follow me, not in your car, but on social media. Oh my! So like I'm on Facebook, Nikita B. I'm on Instagram. I am Nikita B. Mm-hmm. I'll have my calendar up on my website, laughwithnikitaB.com. But anytime I put things out or whatever, I always make sure that it's on social media. I have a text number now though that I want to make sure that people have. So if they like, you know what, I like her, I want to rock with her, I want to know when she's somewhere, they literally just text the word events to 704-285-0932.
Say that one more time, because I was right.
Okay, 704-285-0932.
That's awesome.
And I broke everything down in categories. So like I know that people come to me for different things. Yeah. So I don't want people to be like, oh, well, she's talking about such and such. Now I'll catch her another time. So I tell them, hey, if you want to hear about business, text the word business. You want to hear about, you want to be motivated, text the word hope. If you my nursing family, text the word nursing. Like before I go on and do anything, I only text those people who want to hear that particular information. That way I ain't wasting nobody's time. Yeah. I know that when you get on, you know what we talking about. You ain't got to get on there with that foolishness talking about what we talking about that day. You ain't got time for that. You ain't read the site or nothing. You know what I mean? Nah. So yeah, I'm a tap away. They can always text me or whatever. Or like I said, follow me on social media. I have a heart for creative entrepreneurs. So I help people that's either aspiring or in the beginning stages of, building their brand and things. I built mine backwards. So I wanted to make sure that I can help people not make those mistakes. So those people, they text the word business. You know what I mean? I'm like, every part of me, I am full, transparent, and just want the best for people. Want you to go after what it is that you're doing. And like literally, if I couldn't say but one thing to people who were on here, who were involved in your amazing magazine, people, viewers, or whatever, is this: you have to stop letting unqualified people disqualify you. Period. Half of the people not even qualified to even have an opinion. And those are the people's opinion that you're taking, and you're not moving forward. Stop allowing unqualified people to disqualify you.
That is so good. Y'all reach out to, and you're doing coaching and just so many great things. I'm so happy to be connected to you. Happy, this wonderful invention of social media and these apps that got us acting like we're cousins, but we're cousins for real.
Yes.
But thank you so much for taking time out. Safe travels back home.
Thank you so much.
This has been an amazing time, and I so appreciate you. She's our cover for our August issue, y'all. This interview is gonna be amazing.
Thank you so much.
Bless some people. Thank you, Nikita. You take care. Okay, I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye
Bye bye.
Bye bye.